Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld again. Thanks for stopping by, and just remember, if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like button. Also, feel free to take a look at some of my other BF4 videos if you like. You can find them all in a playlist in the description down below. But anyway, in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what I think are the top 5 weapons in BF4 used by the US Marine Corps. And that's because lately I've realised that a lot of these weapons are some of my most used guns in-game. I don't know why, but I just seem to prefer the US guns because they look awesome, and most of them have pretty good stats as well. And also, whenever I can, I always try and use authentic loadouts, so I find myself using the USMC guns a lot when I'm playing on the US team. Before we start this video though, I should point out that all of the guns on this list are very different, so obviously it's going to be hard to do a direct comparison. So in other words, the order of this list is pretty much just going to come down to my own personal opinion on how the guns look and feel in game. With that being said, you might have a completely different top 5, so if you do, then feel free to let me know. And don't forget, if you want to suggest a topic for an upcoming top 5 list on this channel, then feel free to leave it in the comment section below and I'll see what I can do. But anyway, to kick off, coming in at number 5 on my list is the standard sniper rifle of the US Marine Corps, the M40. And the main reason this gun makes the top 5, apart from how it looks, is because it's the second fastest bolt-action rifle in the game with a rate of fire of 51 RPM. The only reason it's not higher on this list is because it's got a pretty low muzzle velocity of 520 meters per second, which makes it kind of hard to hit long range or moving targets. But with that being said, you can afford to miss a few shots with this rifle, so it's a great choice for new players or if you just like a more aggressive recon playstyle. Now, next on the list, coming in at number 4 is the M4 Carbine, which in the last decade or so has become the standard service rifle of the US Marines. And that's because the M4 is basically like a shorter version of the tried and tested M16, which makes it even more useful for a wider range of different roles. In game, even though the M4 has a rate of fire of 800 RPM, it's actually not that popular because it's one of the few weapons that only fires in burst fire mode. But bearing this in mind, honestly, it's actually not that bad when you do learn how to use it, so if this is the reason you've been avoiding it, you might want to give it another go. Now, coming in next on my list at number 3 is the M249 Saw, which is an LMG that I seem to be coming back to a lot lately. And that's mainly because it fires at 800 RPM, meaning it's got a pretty good chance head-to-head with just about any other weapon in game. Before we go too much further though, I should mention that the USMC is starting to replace many of its M249s with the much lighter M27 IAR. But with that being said, apparently many Marines still prefer the Saw because with its massive 200 round capacity, it's arguably more effective for suppressing targets. Now, for any of you guys who watch this channel on a regular basis, you probably could have guessed that the next gun on this list, the M16A4, would be somewhere at the top. And that's because it's easily one of my favourite assault rifles in the game, because it's not only challenging to use, it can be super effective in the right hands. Like the M4, it also fires in 800 RPM in burst fire only, but the reason this gun is at number 2 on this list is because burst fire isn't such a big issue at mid to long range. And this is where the M16 really starts to shine, because with the AR damage model and a super fast muzzle velocity of 650 meters per second, it's super easy to take out targets at long range. Now, before we get on to the number 1 gun on this list, I just want to give an honourable mention to the Barrett M82, which is a gun that I hardly ever get a chance to talk about. And that's because it's a pickup weapon, so it doesn't really fit with the theme of my other videos, but nevertheless, it's an awesome gun that's used by USMC scout snipers. As you can see from this clip, the M82 fires in semi-automatic mode, and no matter where you hit someone, it's gonna be a one-hit kill. So even though technically it's not a standard weapon, I still think it deserves a spot at the top of this list, because it's one of the coolest and most effective guns in the game. But finally, that brings us to the number 1 spot on this list, which, as I'm sure a lot of you guys already guessed, goes to the M39 EMR. And I think you'll agree that the reason it's at the top of this list is because it's one of the coolest looking guns in the game, and it's probably the best all-round DMR. Is it better than an AEK at close range or an M98B at long range? Well, probably not, but on bigger maps it can dominate just about anyone at mid-range. And as you can see, on hardcore it's even more effective, because with a minimum damage of 38, you can potentially even one-shot people if you land a headshot. But anyway guys, that just about wraps up this top 5, so let me know what you think in the comment section below, and as always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description below if you want to see any more of my videos, or if you want to support my channel on Patreon. And until next time, see you later, and have a good one.